Resident Evil 4 Remake. Let me be honest with you, this is my most anticipated video game of 2023, and for a long time, I didn't have so much hype for the game. We're getting closer to the launch of this game, and thanks for the interviews and feature articles we're getting these days. We have so many information about the game, and today and in this video we're going to take a closer look to the game and see what should we expect from Resident Evil 4 Remake. Remaking such a successful video game like Resident Evil 4 could be a risky task. The game did so well. Even years after its release, Capcom released different editions of this game. We got so many HD, Full Super HD, Ultimate Full HD, and after doing Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, we had no doubt that the days of Resident Evil 4 Remake is upon us. Although the original one is still a good video game, but you have to agree that if you're going to do a remake, you have to maintain every good thing in a game, improve the not so well made elements, and bring out some new stuff that's suitable for the new generation. Doing all of this stuff for a perfect video game like Resident Evil 4 is so hard, and that's why Yasuhiro Ampo, the main director of Resident Evil 4 Remake, told in an interview that, honestly speaking, I didn't want to do it. And these words came out from a man who is not a stranger to the Resident Evil series. Mr. Ampo was on other projects like Resident Evil Outbreak, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil Revelations 2, and of course highly praised 2019 Resident Evil 2 Remake. Mr. Ampu said that it's going to be hard to remake a game that is a legend among the fans, and any changes that they do with the remake may cause anger, but this is an inevitable event. Capcom is going to do it with or without Mr. Ampo, but who's better to do this than a man who proved that he knows how to make a decent remake. At the June 2022 State of Play presentation, Capcom finally announced the Resident Evil 4 Remake after what has felt like years of rumors and speculation. Characters were familiar: Leon Scott Kennedy, Ashley Graham, and of course Ada Wong and Deadly Villagers, and all in beautiful 4K. Capcom announced that the Resident Evil 4 Remake will launch on March 24 of 2023, which is exactly 1 month after the release date of this video. Ladies and gentlemen, believe me, the hype is real. The game will launch for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and PS4. There's no news for Xbox One version yet, and it seems that Capcom don't have any plans for it. Resident Evil 4 was a big game at its time. The new controlling formula for this game was something new, and a lot of video games after this one, like Uncharted franchise, got influenced by Resident Evil 4. But action-adventure standards got higher from before, and there are some elements in the game that shouldn't exist in the remake. But how Capcom is going to do it? Well, there are some new things that we know about and saw in the trailer, so let's dig in. Capcom said multiple times that they're trying to maintain some core elements of the game, but there are still some changes. The first thing that they changed, and I think it was a good touch, was minimizing the number of quick time events or QTEs that makes you push buttons on a specific time. That's good, but why? Because it will make the gameplay more straight up and more fast paced. QTE just makes everything so less exciting and less challenging. It's 2023 and it doesn't make any sense for QTE to even exist. Stealth is more bold now, so you can pretty much do most of the missions by just passing by angry villagers. It could be good if the gameplay becomes more challenging. You do a stealth when you think you are not capable of doing your regular Rambo shit in the game for various reasons, like not having enough ammo or enough herbs, but if you get them enough, there's not a logical reason for doing stealth. So I'm guessing Remake is going to be a little harder than the original. I've got to say that the gameplay is like a mix of Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil Village. I think you get what I'm saying, right? The environmental elements are clearly look much alike Village, but the Resident Evil Village itself was influenced by original Resident Evil 4, so that is just some Matrix stuff that we don't have enough time in this video to talk about. But you get the idea, right? Leon now able to walk while aiming, and that's something that we didn't have the luxury of in the original Resident Evil 4. That was a big limitation back then, but now it's going to feel amazing gunning down villagers with Leon. Parry attacks are something that really shines in the game trailers. You can do parry attacks with different kinds of weapons. Knife, which is a signature weapon of Leon Scott Kennedy, can cause parry attacks now, and in a very wondrous way, you can parry attack a chainsaw with your handgun, which really looks stunning. Aha! Did you see what I did there? Stunning. Okay, enough. You can equip up to 8 weapons at once and can cycle through them using a wheel. This has been added so that players don't need to pause the game to change weapons, like in the original. It's unknown if all the guns from the original are returning, but many have been spotted in the promotional materials. The bow gun will be new for a remake returning from Resident Evil 2. Side quests are more of a thing now in the game, and devs promise that you can do a lot more in the map than before. This could be even finding some collectibles, which is a nostalgic part of the whole Resident Evil series. The original Blue Medallions quest will return, but will be one of the many. Hunting snakes, eggs, and infected dogs is back by popular demand. Speaking of dogs, these new creatures are a lot more different than the original. Devs designed them to be more lethal than before, and it's something that Game Informer on the Resident Evil 4 remake coverage emphasized on it. So on your way into Village, be careful. Developers promised us a different gameplay for Ashley, the president's daughter. It reminds me of how we were able to play as Sherry Birkin in Resident Evil 2. It would be better than just solving a puzzle, and we're in for a different kind of challenges than before. Also, Ashley will not have a health bar in the game, and whenever she's dropped down, you can somehow revive her back into action. Although enemies can pick her up and take her out of the map, which would be the game over for the player just like before. There are new elements with the connection of 2 characters, and she can be directed around more deliberately by the player. Chief Mendez is what my main concern in the game is. Capcom had a good run with Mr. X with all the following around and tailing. Mendez with a trench coat and little hat really gives us some Mr. X vibes, and it's possible that we get him to follow us around throughout the gameplay in the village, which is going to be amazing and disturbing at the same time, but this one needs a good implementing, so I hope it doesn't suck like Nemesis in Resident Evil 3 Remake. One of the other good things that Capcom promised is more Ada Wong. Ada Wong is such a charismatic character in the Resident Evil series, and we had to see some of her actions in the original Resident Evil 4, but Capcom says that this time her story would be expanded, and that's a good news. One thing that I'm sure that Remake will do better than the original is the spooky tone. The game looks scarier even in the trailers. Lightning done so much better in this one, and when I say lightning, I mean the lack of it. Village is darker than before, and devs trying to do more night scenes and quests, which as a tradition, less light means more scarier. I think there's no need to say that graphics are looking much better than before, and thanks to the RE engine, we get to see so much better physics. But I had a problem with the rain in the gameplay trailers. Rain was so fake in the trailer and too much white. It reminded me of GTA Trilogy rain, which was weird as hell, but I hope they fix the rain in the final build. The game will cost $70, which is more than fair, and the people who will buy it on PS4 get the free upgrade to PS5. Are you ready to save Ashley again, or even for the first time? Thanks for sticking up to the end. This has been your boy Paul Craze. See you guys later.